In 2015, the Diocese of Little Rock announced that they were forming a new class for the permanent diaconate. They invited all interested men and their wives to attend various information meetings that were scheduled around the state. And so one evening, Aaron and I found ourselves walking into St. Raphael for the Northwest Arkansas meeting. Since that night, I have driven over 13,000 miles to diaconate events, have completed 20 graduate-level theology courses, and have written 251,000 words in pursuit of arriving at this day. My home and my schedule have also increased by 2 more children since this all started. One of the most common questions that I've been asked is, how do you have time to do this? And the only honest answer to that question is, I don't. Yet, God has called me to this. When I received the letter from Bishop Taylor accepting me into the program, it came with a book called The Heart of the Diaconate by Deacon James Keating. And it's a wonderful book, but the part that sticks with me most to this day is this truth. If we hear God's call and we don't follow it, our lives get harder, not easier. If we listen to God's voice on the inside instead of the noise on the outside, we can do things that the world says are impossible. Now, by no means have I gone through these last 7 years on my own. No, we have all been in this together. So many of you over this time have taken the time to check in, to ask how the program is going, to find out what it is that we are up to in these classes. And I can't tell you how meaningful that has been. So often it has been at just the right time where we needed that extra encouragement. So many of you have offered prayers, and of course we would not be here today without those prayers. Our school staff and our parish staff have also shared many of those same prayers and words of support, but of course have also stepped up in other practical ways as well. Our school staff had extra duties on those Fridays when I would leave early to go to Little Rock, including the very last work day of this year after the students left and I was gone to retreat, and our students and our teachers and our administrators took care of everything. Our parish staff had either the great privilege or the insufferable burden of listening to me practice my homilies all year long. I'll leave it to them to decide which it is, but I'll tell you, like I told them, if my homilies are terrible, you can say it's their fault, because that's what I'll do. Our Knights of Columbus and our Women's Fellowship have helped in many practical ways as well, particularly yesterday, helping us to feed all of our guests following the ordination. I want to thank our previous pastor, Father Wesley, who first encouraged me to join the class, and for Father Tyler for his support and leadership. I thank Father Alex, Father Chandra, Father J. Raj, Father Alphonse, Father Eliseo, all the priests who have crossed my path and encouraged me along the way. I need to thank my classmates, but they are all nervously working on their own first homilies right now, so they're not here with us today. But we do have one member of our formation team here, and that is Bishop-elect Eric Pohlmeier. I'm not even sure where to begin, and my thanks for you and for our team and for all of the guidance that they have provided to us over these years. Thanks goes to my whole family for being here today in these first few pews on this side, but especially to my parents for creating a home where the faith was alive, and then for opening their home to 5 and then 6 perfectly well-behaved children every time we went to Little Rock. Now, my kids would say they enjoyed every minute of extra time at Grandma's house, but we know it's a sacrifice for them also and will continue to be, and I thank them for being on board with this ministry. And then most importantly, to thank Erin for her support. Her role as deacon's wife is not an easy one. While I got to enjoy my theology classes, she got to enjoy pacing hallways with babies and toddlers. And while I get to receive the grace of a new sacrament, she gets to enjoy church pews with a bunch of kids without her husband. But she is on board with this ministry as well and already has begun her work as deacon's wife. All of this is to say that my ministry as a deacon is not possible on my own, but as a parish and as a communion of saints, the impossible becomes possible. About 6 months ago, the date of June 25th got put on the calendar as the official date of our ordination. And now for anyone who came yesterday, you saw that me and my classmates didn't really have to do much. We just kind of had to show up and follow directions. But today is different. Today is the day that we have to do a little more. And so also 6 months ago, this date got on the calendar as the first date that I would serve as deacon. And so I pulled up the USCC Bay website and looked at what the readings were for the day, and what did I see? Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to consume them? Now, you might think it is every deacon's dream to preach about fire and brimstone in his first homily, but something tells me that that wouldn't pack the seats when my name comes up on the schedule. So I looked at it again. Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven? Just a few chapters ago, James and John were simple fishermen. Now they believe they have the power to command the lightning from the sky. So what has changed? They answered Jesus' call, and they have united their life to his. They don't have the power any more than the rest of us, but God does. What James and John know is that if they keep their lives united to Jesus Christ, they can do the impossible. I know that I am not special, but like James and John, I know that if I unite my life to Jesus, then through my life in ministry, he can bring fruit into the world that would not be possible on my own. A few weeks ago, I met with Father Tyler about the work I might be doing as deacon in our parish. And as we met, I had this image of bearing fruit in mind. We are very familiar with these famous words of John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Those words kept running through my head as well, but what I heard was, ask not what your parish can do for you, ask what you can do for your parish. My main focus as I begin my work in diaconate is to help our parish and our parishioners, each of you, to grow in ministry. My hope for the fruit of my own ministry is that sometime in the near future, every member of our parish is active in at least one ministry. Now, some in this room are ready to lead ministry, maybe even lead ministries that don't even exist yet. And I'll be reaching out to you to see about how we might do that. If you have ideas for ministries as well, I hope you will come see me. I had a conversation with someone recently who had an idea for a ministry that wasn't even on my radar as a ministry, because again, we're in this together. Now, some of us are not ready to start and lead a ministry, but may be ready to jump in to serve in ministry, maybe as a communion minister, maybe as a member of the choir, maybe through our Knights of Columbus or one of our other service groups. However, I know the reality is that for most of us, life is so busy, so much is going on with work, with family life, with children, that we cannot do a ministry right now. For everyone living that reality, I want to help you find a ministry where you can receive the ministry of others, a place where you can be fed in faith and in life. We are all giving so much in terms of time and energy and emotional effort just to make it through the day that we don't need more commitments. But that can sometimes be the perfect time to have support and fellowship. No matter which category you are in, you may think that you can't do it right now. But like James and John, we can do the impossible things when we unite our lives deeper and deeper to Jesus. Imagine with me what our parish could look like if every person in this building was participating in at least one ministry. How much closer to each other could we become? How much closer would our families grow to Jesus in their lives and in our homes? How many more people in our families, our workplaces, our community could we introduce to Jesus Christ? How much closer would our own lives become to Jesus? And how much deeper would our own communion with each other become as we approach this Eucharistic table together every Sunday? It was not possible for James and John, two poor fishermen, to command lightning from the sky. But by uniting their lives to Jesus, they knew it was possible. It is not possible for me, Jason Pohlmeier, from the tiny town of Paris, Arkansas, to be effective as a deacon. But if I unite my life to Jesus, he and I can do it together. And it is not possible for you to fit another ministry into your already unbelievably busy lives. But if we daily invite Jesus into our lives, we can. because with Jesus, we can do the impossible.